Hey guys, what's going on? This is your girl Queen G. Welcome to another edition of the Queen G Live Experience. Oh my goodness, I am feeling so amazing this morning. I don't know what it is, but I just feel great. I feel like God has really opened my life up and really enhanced everything. You know, I can't describe it, but I know that this quarantine was rough for everybody and it was hard, but it was something about it that just really took things for me to the next level and opened my whole entire life up. And I mean, in a capacity of creating, becoming a writer, author, becoming a owner of a magazine and things like that. Just putting my whole everything into everything I got. That's what the quarantine did for me. So hopefully you guys are good in the land of the living. Hopefully you're feeling blessed. And just today, out of all days, is a very special episode. I have my brother, who I have had the pleasure of many, many years ago managing. My brother, Drew Gibson. Drew Gibson, he is a special guest today. And when I tell you he is special to me, I love him so much. He is my brother. We have history like 20 something years back, and he is very talented. He's always been just an amazing person in my life and held me down and been an anchor. And my first experience in the business, really, managing him and his brother taught me everything that I know today about being a manager, how to read a contract, how to, negotiate deals and market a brand and market a person. Like he and his brother were my first, love in the game. So I want to introduce my brother and introduce y'all, the world, to this man. He is talented. When I tell you, Mr. Drew Gibson, I want to bring him on right now. Hey, Mr. Drew Gibson, how are you? Welcome to the Queen G Live Experience. My God.
My pleasure being here. My goodness, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I call you guys my first industry experience, and you guys broke my industry cherry. I'm gonna say it like that. I know that sounds nasty, but yeah, no, you taught me everything I know about, reading and writing contracts, about negotiating deals, about, how to actually manage artists, things like that. Remember, we learned everything from you guys, everything that we know today.
Well, it was an experience, but I tell you, even for me, it was a blessing just being able to meet you. There's a funny thing that when we met, it was like we had the same last name. Like we really were. I was like, that really is my sister. For some reason, we had the same last name, and you moved us up to LA. So I'm like, I'm here. I'm in the area where I'm at right now just because of you. So I wouldn't even be up here if it wasn't for you. So
my God. And I remember, oh my God, Drew, now let me take you back on a memory. Remember at that time when, around that era when you guys were like on the Jenny Jones show? And
yeah.
Remember that? See, I knew I was going to get you with some of these memories, right? But back in the day, you guys were so very talented and singing with named acts like Earth, Wind, and Fire and like some of these real industry cats, right? But we know how it was. The money didn't quite match the voices yet, right?
Nope, it sure didn't.
Do you remember when we would park the car way up the block and then walk it to the venue?
Oh man.
Remember that?
Oh man, come on. I think that's a classic right there, because they don't need to know what you get. They don't need to know what you're getting out of. This is what you're gonna come up there and do. So,
right, exactly.
It's been some times. Better walk a little distance.
We couldn't give them all the hands, right? We couldn't give them all the hands.
No, they don't need to know all that. That's all personal stuff
No.
right there.
Right. And I remember things like you guys were so talented that when Faithful Central first opened as a gospel venue and church started at that location at the Forum, you guys were opening act for that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that I love that. That was amazing right there. You know, just being in a new environment for that church and just being at a place where we can just go up and do what we do. And, you know, it felt good to be the first ones in that church, you know, doing anything. So that was amazing, you know.
Oh yeah. And you guys really set the tone, you know, for a lot of young artists out there, because, you know, it's a lot of people that they play entertainment, but y'all were real serious. You know, and when we went out as a unit, oh my God, there was nothing that could stop us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We really we worked good together. Like we're a family. It's a family unit situation, you know. So yeah, it was great just being able to know that when you go back to the house, you're with your family. It's not like it's not all business. You know, we enjoyed, you know, hanging out as well as doing business stuff, you know.
Oh yeah. And listen, I saw y'all brothers grow up as young men, like maturing into, you know, I saw y'all dating life. I saw when y'all was dating people. And, you know, I got to experience all that with y'all.
Story on that too.
Listen, I saw when your brother Timothy Gibson, would sit on the edge of the bathtub and write his lyrics. You know, and that was his way of formulating his words, and that was the way that he creatively created his music, right there on the edge of the tub with his notebook. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I remember times like that. Like it was like yesterday. Remember when we ate freaking top ramen noodles all the time? My God.
Yep. Oh my goodness, man. You bringing me back. You bringing me back. You busting me out, but you bringing me back.
Listen, it's, you know, we gonna keep it real because this is my brother. This is my brother. Because, and I take us back there because you got to know where you started so you can appreciate where you are. You understand?
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that you guys had these raw, authentic moments. I remember, Drew, when you guys first went to Japan and you stayed over there for like 6 months or so. It was your first time traveling out of the country. And what was that experience like, going over Japan and doing your music thing?
Oh man, it was amazing because, you know, that was our first time really as a group and just brothers being anywhere away from the States, you know, and it was a great experience just being able to do your craft every single day, every night, you know. And we had some long nights, but we a lot of stuff grew out of that. It was a great time. You're just growing up as people. Now that was also the time when we really realized the difference between Drew and TJ. You know, I mean, before my mom brought us up as being almost twins. That's how my mom brought us up. But then we found out, no, I like this, you like that, and you're gonna go here, you're gonna do that. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that. And you know, we just learned how to be separate but still work together, you know.
Right. And the way y'all voices blend together, my God, it's like, I don't know what to even call it. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. Like I can't describe you and your brother's voices together, the way that it comes together. And not only did we appreciate that as management, but also the world appreciated the way that y'all sung together. Tell us, Drew, some of the people that you've sung with in the industry. Just give us kind of like a few of the people that you've sung with, entertainment-wise, that we may know of.
Well, I think you might know we opened up for your brother, Tyrese. that was one of our first. That's one of our first celebrity kind of openings. You know, when we first came to LA. But yeah, there's that. We did some work with like a lot of things we've done. We've done in the studio, or we've done opening up for certain artists. Like, you know, we've done Casey and JoJo.
Yep.
Who's the other guy? Of course, there's
Earth, Wind,
the
and
classic Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Gap Band, my brother. There's a lot of different artists that we were able. Shaka Khan. These are like a lot of just
yep.
people that we never thought we would even come in contact with. We're just moving to LA and doing what we do on stages, and people finding out who we were, and we're real brothers. We're not just calling ourselves brothers. We're blood brothers, and we go up there and we do our thing, and you know, people they remember who we were from just those times. Even now, people say, "Oh, I remember you from this and that," and we just live life and enjoy music, and we write. So that's, you know, we there's been a lot of different
and it's
people that we
else even to see you guys now be individual solo artists, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But y'all still every go and again come together and just sing and just do your thing, you know, as brothers, you know. And I just love seeing what you've become as men and as entertainers, having your own individual now career, and see you just coming into your own, you know what I'm saying? Because that's something else. When you sung with your sibling all your life, now you got to be your own individual artist. What does that feel like to be Drew now, Drew Gibson? What does that feel like?
Oh man, you know, it feels good. You know, it took me a while to kind of loosen up into that, because I've always felt like, you know, with me and my brother, I felt like I always had to be the one holding it down in some way. I mean, he's always able to do his own thing, but just the way we were brought up, you know, being the oldest, I just felt like I had to reel him in here and there. But his personality, that's who he is, you know.
Right.
He's a good creative. A good creative. So when it comes down to me having to hold him down, that was just me, my own struggle of having to like break away and really realize that, you know, he's a grown man, I'm a grown man. We have our lanes that we need to go in, and I need to be comfortable with going in my lane. And so that when I got to the point where I was like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna go into my lane and not worry about, you know, trying to keep this brother thing together. We are brothers regardless, you know. But the music thing, you know, we needed to take a break from that, being connected to each other for a while, and just learn how to do our thing solo. And I think that helps us. And even when we come back together now, we do shows together now, or we just get together now, it feels better. Like, okay, you do your thing, I do my thing, but we come together and it's like we're back together again. You know, we got the same chops, same stuff happening, you know.
And I know for a season, you had branched off and you were singing and leading at your church ministry. You were doing some, you know, minister, like singing. I can't think of what they call them. You were like
worship leader.
Yeah, worship and praise leader. You were doing some of that at your ministry at a certain season. Right. And phenomenal at it. When I tell you, I was like, when I saw you leap into that lane, I was like, oh my God, he's so perfect at this. You know, what did that feel like? Yeah. You know, being the minister of music at your church, what did that feel like?
You know, I kind of feel like when it comes to singing, you know, music that has to, God gave us our voices in the first place. You know, every talent comes from Him. So when I go up there and I do that and I sing and I honor Him, to me it feels like that is what I should have been doing in the first place. You know, that's where my heart is at. Even when I sing, wherever I sing, my heart is always with, you know, I want it to please Him. So yeah, it kind of opened me up to a whole nother level of singing. It's not about my voice. It's about, you know, ministering what God is putting on my heart at the moment. So that it's a whole other lane right there, you know.
But, yeah, you guys, because even as one of the challenges you had, even as young independent artists, you were gospel R&B artists. They used to call you guys like the KC and JoJo of gospel. That's what they used to call you guys. And you were real
Yeah.
brothers. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of pressure there because you were young, and when you got up there and sang, they automatically assumed that it was R&B love making music. But then when you would do things that were on a positive note, and it was like, you know, traditional, what they call that, it was gospel, R&B gospel. It was like, oh, they singing about the things of God. Okay. You know what I mean?
We called that remember we called that RNG?
Yes.
Rhythm
R&B.
and good
And it
news.
definitely was what they call inspirational music. Inspirational.
Yeah.
Music that
Right.
was kind of on a positive note, that had no cussing. It wasn't about love making and all that. It was about God. It was about things that were good in the world and keeping harmony and love. And it was about those kind of things. So people kind of tripped out when y'all opened y'all mouths and it was in that lane. You know, that was a trip, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you go up there and you have like maybe 5,000, whether it be older or younger people that's been in church all their life, and you go up there and you put a beat on that sounds like Jodeci, or you put a beat on that
Right.
sounds like Black Street or something like that, then you're gonna sing something to it. I mean, if you go down south, where you were, as a matter of fact, we went to Texas, and we did a show in Texas. I think it was one of the Baptist coalition. I forget what they called it, but the Baptist coalition. We sang up there, man, and it was like pins could drop. And then after it was over, we walked out into the foyer, and we had our CDs out there and stuff like that. But all the kids came to our table, but all the adults looked at us like, "You better get out of here before we get
Right.
a belt." And but we
Right. And I
did
remember
what we
that
do.
too as a manager, even it was a lot of judgment coming towards you guys because your beat was a little more edgy. It was a little more boom, boom. You know what I mean? Hardcore. And like they didn't think that y'all had God in your heart because of the tone of the music. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
Or
yeah. I mean,
not
I
really.
think.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I noticed that during that era, that was before. I believe they were just coming out with Kurt Franklin and Stomp and all that
Yes.
stuff. But that was back in that day, and we were like one of the first ones out there doing that, coming from the Bay Area, Vallejo, and we had a whole different sound that really was straight R&B, hip hop vibe sound, and people was like, okay, what is this? And they had really just have to
Right.
listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics, and you'll understand. You would understand where we're coming from. But it was just a new
Right.
era of
And a
coming
new
out there
time,
doing
you
that
guys
stuff.
were testing the waters in that. Like I remember the song you had about your mom. That's why you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a lady. You know,
You better
7
sing
times a
it. You better
lady.
sing. You better
Oh man,
sing, Gibson.
I don't forget. I don't forget. And I remember that song, and it was so touching. You guys were on a lot of stages for Mother's Day and honoring mothers and women with that song. And it was like the way that, like you were saying, the younger generation, they would hear the actual words and understand that you had Christ in your heart and understood that it was a positive message. But we got a lot of judgment, man. People didn't even want y'all on stage because they thought you were too edgy. You don't fit this category or that category, because your beat is too deep. You know what I'm saying? We can't have you. So we went through a lot of power trips at that time of even fighting to get you on certain platforms because of that very reason. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so
But
since
it's
then you
changed. It
have
had changed now.
it didn't change now. They can't say nothing. You have since then gotten married and you've become a father. So tell us about that side of you.
Yeah, yeah, it was like there was a period of time in my life where, this is like fresh from Japan, and there's a lot of things that Japan did that I can say was a step in the direction of growing up to be a man. But there's areas in there where I felt like, okay, it changed me to becoming less of the man I wanted to be. And I felt like, during that time it was lessons that needed to be learned, and I just felt like, um, coming out of Japan, it was my detox time of just not even dealing with, not being in any type of relationships during that time. But during that time, that's
Right.
when I met my wife. My wife, it was at a time where I said, I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna deal with anything. And she came along. It was like a total. It actually reminded me of childhood. Like, it reminded me of the way you would look at a woman when you were before you even knew about. Okay, let me just say that, before you even knew about sex or anything like that. When you just were
Right.
friends. It was that type of vibe, and it was new. So I felt like, that was a whole nother growth spurt for me to understand. Okay, a lot of times it's not about growing up and becoming something different. It's about finding who you are and remembering who you were, even as a child. So I think she brought that out of me. Even her friend Erica, which is the one that kind of brought us together, you know, uh, reminded me of just childhood friends, and we just developed from that. So yeah, we've been married now over 14 years now. So
I
we've
remember,
been
and she
trucking
is
along.
she is so beautiful, and I'm grateful. And I know, listen, me knowing you personally, I know that she is a
Mhm.
great woman and
Yeah,
very dedicated and has held you down all of these years, and been there in true support through your ups and
right,
downs. You know what I mean? Me
right,
knowing you
right.
and knowing that her position in your life has to be special,
Yes.
because you know it was like you were searching at that moment, and didn't quite
Hmm.
know what was what, and she basically brought everything you needed into your life, you know what I mean, at that
Yeah,
time. So
yeah. I think that was just, like I said, a growth time of just learning who I was as a man. And it was some times where just it was a struggle of trying to figure out, okay, you know, who do I want to be? Who am I? It's I think every man
right.
comes into that to that to that frame of thought. Okay, who am I? Who do I want to be? And it just kind of like everything just flowed together during that time. I felt like that was the least that should have been the time where I just wasn't dealing with any types of women, just laid back. And she came along going with the flow of whatever we were doing, and it just was comfortable. It wasn't like a thing that was a pressure thing. So it was amazing the way that happened, because I probably would be single if it wasn't for that. I'd be still
Right, right,
going
right.
down my single
Definitely.
route, you know?
And you two since have had two beautiful children that are now entering into preteen stage. I can't believe it. Number one, that you're a father, and that they've gotten to be so big already. I'm like, wow, like time has
Mhm.
definitely gone by. And I know it's a trip watching your beautiful kids just blossom and grow up right before you, and teaching them now the things that you know. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
teaching them about life. You know, it's a trip, right?
right, right, right. Because there's a lot of pitfalls that they don't have to go into, because I've already been there, And I know, just like any parent that goes into getting married and having children, you just realize, okay, whatever I went through 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you're gonna jump right over that. You're gonna go right around that,
Right,
because I'm not gonna allow you to go through the same thing I went through. And that's the idea of being a parent. Just
right,
to give
exactly.
them all the tools they need.
Exactly, exactly. I got a real silly question for you, real
Uh oh.
silly. So get ready.
Uh oh.
What is that right there on your chin? I just want to know. What's that
Oh.
on your chin right
Oh. Oh. I've,
That's
I've
salt
heard
and
people.
pepper going on. I don't know if I can quite get accustomed to
Well,
that.
I've heard people say that that could be looked at as wisdom.
Right,
And
right,
and and I
right.
I think I have a good 20 strands of wisdom in there somewhere. But
Right.
you gotta grow up. You gotta grow up sometime.
Man. I'm just tripping. Like it's been years for us, and we look good though. We look good for us to.
Hey, I don't know about me, but I'm looking at you. You look good with the hat on. You got the whole.
Thank you.
With your glasses on. I didn't get to grab no glasses. I should go to get my glasses.
Oh, you're so funny. My God. God has been good to me. And to also bless me with a handsome man that's been in my life for many, many years and stood by my side. I've been with the same guy now for, 12 years plus. And we had 3 children together. Yeah. And he raised my son, you know what I'm saying, who was 2 years of age when I met him. So it's what keeps me smiling is God. And I'm pointing up because God is really my true anchor. And my true reason for doing everything that I do. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a good man. When you have a good man by your side, honey, you smile every day. And I got so many reasons to smile. So many. Starting with the fact that God woke me up this morning. You know what I mean? Like so many people didn't wake up. So many. And we are blessed, to be able to even be on here talking and seeing each other after all these years. You know what I mean? So that's why I look like this, because I'm happy to be alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, especially with all the health issues. I mean, with the whole COVID thing. I mean, I remember back. I don't know if you heard, like some years back, I had a stroke. I had 2 strokes. Some years back. So when you talk about happy to be alive and happy to be living, like I don't have any residual things happening around my mouth or any freezing up on my face. When people have strokes, they things happen, and that's one of those things. Like when you talk about health and God blessing you. And I know you've had some issues within the last couple of weeks or months. So I know that
with epilepsy, right. So, I didn't know you had some strokes, bro. Wow, that is you are a walking miracle.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I think that might have been the times when you just didn't hear from me at all. My brother, he came to the hospital when he seen me in the hospital. It was like, tears in his eyes, like. But I mean, for me, it was as much as it's hard to call that a blessing, but it was a blessing because I understood that my life. We say it all the time in church that our life is in God's hands, but when you are sitting in that bed and you can't move, you can't move, you can't talk, your the words that you would normally use, you can't think of. It does something to your mind to have a stroke, and to be able to sit there and see people that come in the room and not recognize, their faces, family members, their faces, but you don't recognize, you can't pull out their names. My mom walked in the room. I knew who my mom was. But some other people walked in the room that I've known for years. I couldn't remember their names, and that was a scary time for me. But yeah, I mean, but just walking through that and 3 days in the hospital, coming out, with all my mental accolades working and everything working, that was a miracle. And then
being able to speak right now, that's another thing, because normally a stroke damages your speech and your vocals and things like that. So for you to be able to express yourself right now, my husband had a stroke too in 2016. Wow. He had one in 2016. And I remember that moment of him talking. He was trying to say words, but they weren't coming out correctly. You know what I'm saying? And I stood there and held him up in the chair to keep him from falling on the ground and hitting his head. You know what I'm saying? And I remember just getting on the phone with 911 while I'm holding my husband up.
Wow.
And just talking to him like, baby, you okay? Just hang in there. Be strong. Like, that was the craziest thing, bro. And see, that morning, I heard God tell me to get up and go home because I was I was living in Las Vegas, but I was in Los Angeles. You understand? I heard a strong voice from God say, get up, go home right now. And I was dog tired, you know, and that's like a 4-hour drive or whatever. Got home by the afternoon, my husband had a stroke.
Wow.
Sure did.
It's something when you're in the spirit, when you can hear his voice like that, you know, you need that. You need to be able to hear him. Because stuff like that, there's no way to know anything, health issues happening in your life. There's no way to know. Doctors can't find out. Doctors didn't even find out what was wrong with me. They can't find out certain things. You got to be able to depend on that voice telling you to go home, do this, do that, and just be aware of that. There's a spirit. There's a spirit out there that's for your good. That's trying to speak to you. You know,
right? And we know that voice because we have a relationship with God for ourselves. We know when you hear that particular language or that, and he don't hit you in your ear, like with a horse. Sometimes it's a kind, soft word. You know what I mean? It's subtle and things like that. But when you know it's his voice, you know it's his. Period.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It don't even have to be a voice, you know. Yeah.
So it's a trip, and I'm glad you recovered from those strokes. And wow, I never knew that, Drew. Like, that is so new to me today, the information you're giving me. I'm so glad you recovered from that, because I know personally what that stage is like. It took my husband a couple of months to recover from his stroke. And I even remember him on Facebook live from the hospital bed telling people, it don't matter how old or how young you are, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Because I'm a young man. He was 36 years old at the time when he had
I was 36. I was 36 when I had my stroke. As a matter of fact, I put like a little video up, maybe like a couple of weeks after my stroke, that kind of described what happened. Because I was on stage when it happened, and I had a mic in my hand. The mic dropped out of my hand. I couldn't pick it up, and I lost movement in my leg, and I fell to the ground. It's a good thing that at the gig I was doing, there was a bunch of doctors. But it's weird. You say 36. I was 36. And,
my husband was 36 when he had that stroke. You had your stroke on stage, Drew? Are you serious right now?
On stage. Yes, I was on stage, and I was getting ready to sing, and I think I either was getting ready to sing or the song was getting ready to be over at some point. But I had the mic in my hand. The mic, I felt like I was still gripping the mic, but the mic had already dropped out of my hand and hit the ground. And I went down to pick it up. I picked it up and hit the ground again. And then the MD, the music director, was like, just step to the back. I was leading the song. Step to the back. And just go relax. And I went back there, and by the end of the last beat of that song, all you heard was a boom, hit the ground, and they pulled me to the front, and they found out I had a stroke. Tried to give me water just coming out of my mouth, and I couldn't talk. And so and what you said, that was the first stroke. The second stroke was at my house, and my wife was getting ready, because I just got home from another gig. And my wife was getting ready to go to bed. So I'm going to bed, and she was talking to me from behind me. But my head was still looking at the TV, and I wasn't moving. And she said she thought I was mad at her. And if she didn't press for that to figure out what's going on, she came around the couch and looked at me and seen that my eyes was locked in the same position, and I wasn't moving. And then she asked me another question, and I tried to answer her, but I couldn't. Then at that point she paused. I can't talk.
Yeah, you can't
move your mouth.
You can't, because my husband at that time was trying to say something to me, and what he was saying was, "Honey, I love you," but it was like "I love you," like that. And I was like, "Oh no, he's having a stroke, honey." And I had never seen one, but I knew that that's what it was, because he was trying to express himself, and then the slobber was coming out of his mouth because he couldn't talk. He could not speak. So it was, oh man, that is something else. It's very scary, and and it impacts your motor skills and your speech and everything. And you got to work at even recovering. You got to work at rehabilitating and getting things back on track, because all of that is, motor skills and stuff that's impacted by this stroke.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for my brother, you are a walking miracle, because for you to even be able to sing right now, sing a lyric, talk to me, any of that, after 2 strokes, oh my God, like you are hands down a walking miracle, and you are meant to be here, and you are meant to still give in some capacity or the other, because guess what? If not, it would have been over and you would have been completely debilitated. You understand? You would have been completely, that's just it. Like if it wasn't meant to be right now, you wouldn't be here at all. Period.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
You wouldn't be here. So it gets, we get deep because we are spiritual. We're brother and sister. And we know the things of God for ourselves. We know the relationship with God ourselves. We understand what that is like. You know what I'm saying? That intimacy and that one-on-one. And it ain't no joke, bro. And when you got a calling on your life, honey, when you got a calling on your life, what happens? We get attacked more. Why? Because we're a threat to the enemy's kingdom. You understand? So
it's that light inside.
We know what it is.
Every person. The crazy thing is, I've noticed that even if you don't know God, people that don't know God, and they can have a calling on their life too, because God calls you before you even understand Him, before you even know who He is. Right. He calls you. It's like even with my wife, my wife, growing up in the household she grew up, she didn't really know God like she knows Him now, and I've watched how she explained her childhood, and I'm like, no, that was God. God saved you from this. He did this. He did that. And she comes to the knowledge now, understanding all those pitfalls that she could have fell into. She didn't fall into because the grace of God had her, and He knew what her life would be like later, and He already chose her. So that was like it doesn't matter if you know Him or not. At some point in time, He's chosen you, and you're going to come to the realization that He's chosen you. And fall in line,
Exactly. Oh my God. We can go on forever about this, about how good God is to us and has given us so much grace and favor and mercy, and how He uses our lives to impact so many others. So Drew, with that being said, I wanted to see, I know it's early in the morning for you. It's 10 something in the morning out there. But I wanted to see if there was any way you can bless us with something, some kind of song, whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to do. I know it's early, so I know you're probably not woke up yet in the pipes, but I would love to hear something after all these years. Right? Yeah, so if you can do it, we would love to hear something.
Okay, you know what? I'll sing a little piece of a song that I wrote with 2 guys that my producer at the time, his name was CC Thomas, and Michael Seacrest, and we did a song called "I Will Go." That's the title song from the album that we released. So I'll just do a little piece of it. So, I will go where she goes under any sky. When she goes where she goes, she won't wonder why. I wanna go where she goes rather than left behind. I will go where she goes, anywhere would be fine. That's a little piece of something that I've written before.
And I want everybody that's watching, listen, guys, it's early in the morning out there. I want y'all to go look him up on YouTube. Go look up Drew Gibson. I think there's another Drew Gibson, but not him. This guy.
The guy who's
there's another Drew Gibson. This is the African American Drew Gibson.
Yeah, this is the block Drew Gibson.
The black Drew Gibson. Right.
No, but they can also catch all the streaming. I'm on pretty much all the streaming sources that you have that you can pick up. Pandora, whatever you have that you stream with, you can also do that. And make sure you add me to your list on your streaming devices, whatever you use. Drew Gibson.
Download him, pull him in. Yeah, y'all got to listen to him. And what I love about Drew's ability as a songwriter and singer is he just has a very melodic voice. Your voice is amazing. It's always been amazing and powerful. That's probably why you had the stroke on stage. It was too powerful for the mic, honey. We can joke about it now, right? But yeah, like it's you have always been a phenomenal entertainer. I've always been captivated by you, as well as your brother, of course, and I've always admired the gift that God has given you. And I know your mom feels the same way. I know your mom is like so proud of you guys, after all these years, and just taken aback by what God did, through her son's lives. Like, I know she is amazed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mama's mama. You know how mamas are. They're gonna no matter
Right.
no matter what I did in life, she's gonna still love her sons. So yeah, but it's a blessing though to be able to still do music and and just add other pieces to the puzzle. I have my family, and just people around me that believe in me as a person. Not me as a singer, but just me as a person.
Right.
It's amazing just to even have people that know you, outside of music.
Exactly. And I want to go ahead and give you the opportunity to give a message to your fans right now. Whatever that message is, go ahead and express that at this time. Whatever you want them to know about you.
Well, I mean, my main focus in just life and music in general is it's just to be an authentic version of who you are. To not look at the people that surround you and try to become like that. Find out. There's a song that I have on my album that just the lyrics are just basically saying, find out who you are, because when you find out who you are, then you'll go far. You'll go further being you than you'll go trying to be somebody else. So it's just that, being authentic, not being afraid to make decisions, even if you're not making the greatest decisions. Make a decision in life and let God iron it out later. But just don't be afraid to take chances and make decisions with your life. And not every decision is going to be the best, but you'll find lessons in the decisions you make. So yeah, be authentic and don't be afraid to take chances and make choices with your life.
And one more thing, go ahead and leave a message for your brother, TJ Gibson, who you've sung with all your life. What is it that you want your brother to know at this time?
Boy, you better call me. No, I'm just messing.
I love it.
Nah, I talked to him a while back, but yeah, I love my brother, and I can tell you that, whatever he's doing in music, whatever he says, he's basically what I've been talking about. Be authentic, who you are. That is who you are. Be bold, and be exactly who you are. I'm still learning how to do that. I've always been a shy kid growing up. So me learning how to be me and know that whether they like me or not, being me is enough. It's a lesson to learn. So yeah, but I'm gonna tell my brother, man, hey man, I love you, and I we got to get together at some point and do some more Gibson brother music.
Hey, and the perfect thing for him is to come up there in those mountains and get his right on and take some time.
He's been here.
That would be perfect for him.
A couple times. Yeah, he would
That's
love
what's up,
man. He would love it.
That's what's up.
You know
Well,
what?
Drew, I'll let you. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say before we go, want to do at some point in the next couple of months or so coming up. I want to put on my own little show up in these mountains. It'll just be me and my little PA system. But there's just so many different views out here that you can do a setup, and it's like, you know, cliffs. It looks like Grand Canyon up here somewhere. So I can just set up my little situation, and I'll just do music for everyone. If they want to hear some of my new songs from my album, I'll do it live up there in the mountainous areas of Pine Mountain Club. Forget about that.
Listen,
man. I don't want anybody hanging out.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm gonna be out there around June 19th for some other events. If you want to set it up and try to set it up around that time, let me know, and I can probably invite, you know, some of my team members and stuff up that we can, you know, because I know a lot of people, and you know how it is.
I know.
We can come up there. But I'm gonna be out there around June 19th, so put that on your calendar, and if you want to do something around that time, that'll be great.
Okay. All right. That'll work.
Okay. Well, brother, I love you. And this was so awesome catching up with you.
Yeah,
you
man. It's amazing. Amazing to be able to see your face still look exactly the same. And that's a good thing. And doing your thing. I love it.
I'm so grateful that you said that. it's been quite a while. My some of the strands in my hair look like the hairs in your chin, so you know.
but because of your braiding skills, all that stuff can be hidden away.
Right, exactly. You know how it is. So yeah, brother, well, I love you, and I am so grateful that you stopped in at the Queen G Live Experience. Thank you so much for blessing me with this time. Let's connect soon, please. Let's get together. And actually, you know, get a real hug in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's been good.
All
man.
right.
I'm glad you invited me on this show, and you know, I just pray blessings for everybody out there. You know.
Definitely. Have a good day, brother.
All right, most definitely.
I'll holler at you. All right, y'all. That was my brother, Drew Gibson. What an amazing guy. Been all since I've known him, since his early, you know, years, early 20s. He's always been amazing, just like his brother TJ Gibson as well. And I am just so grateful that he stopped in and blessed this platform with his energy, his love, his voice, and all of his amazing things that he said today. Oh my God, y'all. One thing I learned from him today is we got to live our days to the fullest. You just never know when something is going to happen. Just understand that your life is very, very important, and you mean everything to everybody. So take care of yourselves out there, you guys. And this is your girl, Queen G Live Experience. I'll see y'all next time. All right. I'm out of here. Peace.